We are on our fifth and final pathway of our new vision here, and this is the pathway of leading or influencing. There's plenty of work in the questions area. Let me just do kind of a quick summary. I'm not doing a fancy video this week. Leadership is important. It was important from the very start of the church with the appointing of the apostles. Ephesians 4 expands that to 5 different offices within the church, although that's not meant to be in a kind of read in a limiting way, but just identifying important leadership within the church. It's expanded in other sections of Scripture as we learn the story of the church. Here's what we know. Leadership is important. We see from Ephesians 4 that leadership is a gift directly from God. It's what's necessary for the church to flourish and to accomplish the mission that God has given it. And so we want to explore kind of what leadership means. You might start out with going, hey, look, you know what, I'm not a leader. This isn't the pathway for me. And it may well not be. Paul talks about this of going, if you have leadership skills, then you use that. Do that diligently. Not everyone's going to have it. But I want you to understand that we're broadening this out here at the very beginning of this pathway, using John Maxwell's definition of leadership as really essentially influence. Everyone has influence with at least somebody. So you may not be kind of the quintessential leader, upfront person, but when we understand that we have influence in the world, that we're called to be influential in the world as Christians, to share our faith, everyone is at least the beginning stage of this. So I break it into kind of 3 parts here, or 4 parts. We start with personal leadership, and that starts with every Christian's responsibility to share their faith, to have influence. This doesn't mean that you're shoving your faith down someone's throat, as much as you share and give opportunity to talk about faith matters. That's an important piece of our following Jesus. But then it goes into mentoring or influencing others, walking alongside. Don't get tripped out on mentoring there of going, there's lots of different levels here. There certainly is an intensive level, but there's also this idea of kind of going, look, I'm just kind of walking aside someone and helping them and guiding them and watching over them. We even do that with people that we're growing with together. And so there's that, you're going to explore that. And then there's leading a group, like a small group, like what we're doing here. This isn't about being an expert in the room, it's about being a facilitator, but being used to help connect people, because that's where people really grow. Sunday morning is nice, but people don't grow in lines facing forward, not interacting. We really start to grow in our faith when we build relationships, when we dialogue and discuss and get to know each other and share each other's lives. That's an essential part of it. And that takes leadership to have that happen. From there, it kind of goes into 3 big areas here. There is formal leadership, kind of what you would normally think of. Formal leadership in the church. And we have ministry directors. It's a very high level. That means you're on the board. You hold a major responsibility over one of the major ministries. Then there are coordinators that serve underneath them. They take a piece of that ministry and lead a team to get those things accomplished. Then we just have kind of ministry leaders, kind of ground level, not just somebody that does something, but leads a team to accomplish some type of ministry activity. So we have different forms of like that. But there's also leadership outside the church, and you're going to read about that in this packet. We want to recognize that not all ministry happens inside the church. In fact, we're called to go outside the church, and so you can exercise your leadership in parachurch ministries. We have a number of people that are involved in that already. You could maybe in due time be someone that starts a micro church. We don't have time to kind of explain all of that, but it's just a small gathering of particularly non-believers, a form of getting a lot of church plants started so that we are reaching the people that never will come on Sunday morning. Or being a missionary and going to another place. Those are all kind of outside the church. And then finally we have kind of the ordained path, high dedicated, maybe even career level type of leadership. God is always calling people forward in those because we need that high level. That's not for everyone, I understand that, but we never know who God might be calling. And don't think of it as simply just as a pastor. There is the category of a deacon that is a volunteer level, but a high dedication level of that. And you're located in a church where when you get to kind of the elder, what we call elder, or the pastor level, I go where I'm sent. I'm not located in just one church. I am for this particular time, and I have been here for a long time and plan to be here. But in essence, I'm commissioned, and that commission could change, and that's what a pastor does. They don't get just to say, "Hey, I want to stay in one spot." They go where they're told. And so we have an exploration process called LMC, CMC. Don't worry about what those words mean. As much as they're pathways of helping someone to discover, is this really what God's calling me to? How do I get trained and prepared for that? And so leadership is really important. The church thrives and flourishes and accomplishes its mission as we expand our leadership. And so we want to have a pathway here, a defined pathway, to be encouraging people that do have that gift, that do have that calling. How do we move you down that pathway? How do we create opportunities for you to respond? Because we recognize that leadership is a gift directly from God, and it is essential for the success of our church. So enjoy discussing this together and looking at some of the examples from Scripture.